You ever wish you just had a straightforward blueprint for how to live a meaningful life? Well, today, we're unlocking one of the most practical chapters in the entire Bible, Romans chapter 12. We're going to walk through this verse by verse with visuals so clear they'll lock this amazing guide for living right into your memory. All right, let's dive in. So, right out of the gate, verse 1 just sets the entire stage. Paul is practically begging us, saying, hey, because of everything God has done for you, this is really the only thing that makes sense to do. And at the heart of that response is this incredible idea, becoming a living sacrifice. Okay, so in the ancient world, a sacrifice was, an animal. It was killed and placed on an altar. Paul just flips that whole idea on its head. I want you to picture a stone altar, but instead of an animal, you consciously place your entire modern life on it. So your smartphone there, your car keys, your career goals, your relationships, all of it. Not dead, but alive and vibrant and totally dedicated. That image right there, that's the foundation for this whole chapter. So verse 1 gives us the what? Become a living sacrifice. But how? How do you actually do that? Well, verse 2 gives us the answer. And look, this isn't about just gritting your teeth and trying harder to be a good person. The real change is internal. It all starts in your mind. Okay, so let's imagine your mind is this, a generic gray block of clay. Every single day, the world, social media, ads, the culture around you, is just constantly mindlessly mashing and squeezing it into whatever shape it wants. Paul says, stop. Don't let that happen. Renewing your mind is like an artist stepping in, picking up that same clay and intentionally, purposefully reshaping it into something beautiful and completely new. It's an active transformation that happens on the inside. So once your mind starts getting renewed, what's the very first result? Well, according to verse 3, it's how you see yourself. And man, this verse cackles our ego head on. It introduces this powerful idea of thinking soberly. You know those funhouse mirrors that stretch you out or squash you down, or a dirty mirror that just obscures the view? Thinking soberly is like looking into a perfectly clean, perfectly flat mirror. It shows you exactly as you are. No inflation, no deflation. Just a totally honest, clear assessment of who you really are. Okay, so first, you see yourself with total clarity. Then, in verses 4 and 5, Paul immediately zooms out and shows you how you fit in with everybody else. See, it's not about being some isolated individual. It's about being part of a body. Let's picture the community, like one of those giant 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles. Every single piece is shaped differently. You've got an eye piece, a hand piece, a foot piece. No two are the same, and the eye can't do what the foot does, right? The big, beautiful picture only comes together when every single unique piece is locked perfectly in its place. That's the image here. So what are these different puzzle pieces? Well, from verse 6 all the way to 8, Paul starts listing some of these unique roles, these different functions on the team. He calls them gifts. And the crucial point is that everybody has something to contribute. Everyone has a specific part to play. So what do these different roles look like? Verses 6 through 8 give us a quick sample. You've got prophecy, that's speaking the right truth at the right time. Ministry, that's just seeing a need and quietly meeting it, no applause needed. Teaching is having that knack for making complicated ideas simple. Exhorting is being that ultimate encourager, the person who just lifts everyone's spirits. Then there's giving, joyfully funding the mission. Leading, the skill of organizing people to get something done. And showing mercy, which is just compassionately caring for people who are hurting. Just take a second. Which one of those sounds a little bit like you? And that brings us to verse 9, where it's like the camera angle completely shifts. We've gone from our inner world and our role in the team to our outward actions toward other people. And the engine that drives all of it, love, but a very, very specific kind of love. The instruction is love without hypocrisy. So for this one, picture authentic love as just a real human face. No filter, no faking it. Hypocritical love is putting on one of those cheap plastic masks that's smiling, even when you're frowning on the inside. Paul says, take off the mask. Then he says, cling to what is good. Imagine someone handed you a solid gold bar. You wouldn't hold it loosely, would you? No way. You'd grip it tight. That's how we're supposed to hold on to goodness. Now, from verses 10 to 13, we get this incredible, fast-paced playbook for what that authentic love actually looks like day to day. This isn't some abstract theory, right? This is the nitty-gritty, the how-to guide for real life. Okay, let's run this playbook. Let's see it in action. Kindly affectionate. That's a warm, genuine hug. Giving preference. That's literally holding a door open or giving someone else the better seat. Not lagging in diligence. Picture an athlete training with intense focus. Distributing to needs. That's as simple as sharing your lunch with someone who doesn't have one. And given to hospitality is swinging your front door wide open with a huge smile. It's a highlight reel of love in motion. And right here, bam, the chapter takes this huge, dramatic turn. I mean, it's one thing to love your friends, your teammates, but the ultimate test of a renewed mind, it's how you treat the people who are against you. And there it is, in verse 14. This is one of the most radical, just completely counterintuitive commands you can imagine. To not just put up with your enemies, but to actively wish them well. This is where things get really serious. Let's get a mental picture for this one. Imagine someone is standing in front of you, just throwing handfuls of mud at your clean white shirt. Your gut reaction, right? It's to scoop up some mud and fire it right back. Instead, this verse says to walk over to them and offer them a clean towel. The absolute shock of that unexpected kindness, that's the heart of this command. So how on earth do you do that? How do you bless your enemies? Well, verses 15 and 16 give us the internal software we need to run. Radical empathy and deep, deep humility. You just can't bless your enemies if you're arrogant or if you can't feel what other people feel. Let's really paint a picture here. For verse 15, imagine you're at a friend's wedding and you're genuinely laughing and celebrating with them. Then, picture yourself at a funeral with a tear on your cheek, genuinely sharing in their grief. That's empathy. For verse 16, imagine a powerful CEO in a fancy suit choosing to eat lunch in the break room with the janitors, and he's listening intently to their stories. That is associating with the humble. Okay, so now in verses 17 to 19, Paul gets right to the heart of the matter when it comes to conflict. He commands us to break the cycle of retaliation and to hand over the job of justice to the only one who's actually qualified to handle it. I want you to really visualize this. You're holding this scorching hot rock in your hands, and it's got revenge written on it. And it's just burning you, right? It's causing you pain. Do not avenge yourselves is the act of opening your hands and handing that burning rock over to the one righteous, powerful judge who can handle it without getting burned. You can almost feel the immediate relief as you just let it go. Which brings us to verse 20, and this is probably one of the most famous and most misunderstood quotes in the whole chapter. Heaping coals of fire on his head isn't some secret way to hurt your enemy. In that culture, it was an image for something that could lead to genuine shame and repentance. It's about shocking them with a kindness so unexpected, so overwhelming, that it actually melts their hostility. And finally, verse 21. This is it. This is the mic drop for the entire chapter, the ultimate summary statement. It reframes the whole struggle. It's not just about defending against evil. It's about going on the offensive with good. Good becomes your weapon. So, we've come full circle, haven't we? This chapter isn't just some ancient text to be read, it's a living blueprint. From the altar of your daily life to the team you're a part of, to the enemies you face, the challenge is always the same. Don't just resist evil, overcome it with good. The question isn't just, what does this mean? The real question is, how are you going to start building with this blueprint today?